Hey guys, DM Scotty here. Welcome to the DM's Craft Short Tip. Today I have an unusual video that I'm going to talk about doors, but I've already done a video on creating your own doors, but this one is more about modifying doors that are already created. There is a Mage Knight Dungeon Builders kit, and that kit has four pre-made doors in it and some discs that you would put in a room, and I think you turn them over and it tells you, what the encounter is in the room. But we're not interested in that, we're interested in the doors. The doors are pretty nice, but they do have a couple problems. One problem is, like most Mage Knight figures, they don't have any shading on them, so they're just base painted, or they're just painted with the minimum paint job they could get away with, and still sell you a figure, and so they're not so great on that. And the other thing is they tend to fall over. They have very small bases, so we can modify that very easily. So in this video I was going to show how to fix these a little bit, and you can use them in your dungeons. Just make your tiles the same width as the door that you get from these sets. You can find these sets on eBay pretty easily, and I'll show you again the picture of what it looks like. And it's a Dungeon Starters kit, I think. So today I was just going to show you how to modify those a little bit. So keep in mind when you're doing this kind of stuff, you can always find these kind of items and modify them to your use, or that kind of thing. Furniture, dungeon accessories or something, and add to your collection as you go. You don't necessarily have to make everything. If you're on a budget, you might want to put the time in and make everything. But if you don't, if you got a little money to spend, you can find little gems like this and add them to your collection. But this set is a pretty nice set of doors, and we'll go to the table and show you how I modified those. So here's the doors I'm talking about. They're from the Mage Knight Dungeon Builders set. You can get these on eBay very cheap, and they're decent looking as far as the paint job. I'm going to touch it up a little bit, but one nice thing is they have a frame on it, and then you can open the door. Actually, open the door to go in. You could have it. It actually opens either way, so you could have it depending on what way you want the door to open. You could have it open either way. So that's a nice feature. One thing that's kind of bad about these is they have a very small base, and if you jiggle the table, they're going to knock over. So that's pretty easy to fix. So the sets come with they're pretty cheap on eBay. The sets come with a wooden door and a steel door. So they have 3 wooden doors and 1 steel door. So what I want to do is attach this to a larger base, so it'll stand up better. What I'm going to do for that is I'm going to take a carving tool. You could use an X-Acto knife or anything. Just be careful when you do this. And I'm just going to score like you see me do for the bottom of these. Okay, so I've got some scoring on there, and that'll help me stick it to the base. And now I'm going to move to the next step. One big problem I've always had with these Mage Knight figures is the lack of shading, and the doors are no different. So that's easy to fix. I'm just going to use a black wash. So I'm just going to use a big brush, get it wet, get it very wet, my water, and pick up some black, just some black acrylic, and then just go to the surface. If you find it's too dark, you can always put some more water. I'm just going to use a little bit of the paper towel and wipe it off. So there we go. It's still wet, but some instant shading on that door, and it looks 100% better. So I'm going to do all the other doors, and then we'll move to the next step. Our black is dried, and it's given the door a little bit better shading. But what I'm going to do is add a little bit of a highlight. So what I can do is I can take the door actually out of the frame. Just put the frame aside. And then I'm going to use a golden brown on my brush. And I'll just get some of that on there. And I'll just start applying it to the door. Just gently. You don't want too much. Alright, there we go. Add a little bit of interest to the door. And I'll finish up the other side, and then we'll move on to the archway. Here's my archway, and so I'm just going to use a little bit of a very light gray. And I'll get that on my brush. And I'm just going to kind of pick out the edges very gently. So there we go. That really helps the doorway to come alive a bit. And so do the other side, and then we'll be finished. Here I have my door, and I cut the base. It's just the length of the door. It fits right on there. And basically this is just a cardstock base. And what I did is I just sprayed it first with black. Then I sprayed it with the texture paint. So you could do like a piece of cardstock and then spray it with the texture paint and then use it for applications like this. Just keep it and use it for applications like this. So I've cut this piece, so now all I need to do is apply it. So since the door is plastic, I put some scoring on the bottom of the door earlier, so it'll stick better to the cardstock. And the great thing about this is, if you ever want to take the door off for some reason, it's only going to be stuck on by hot glue, so you can always just rip it right off the base. So, okay, so now I will just use my small glue gun. Put a few good dabs of glue and attach it to the base. Try to get in the center there. So we'll let that dry for a sec. Now that's so much more stable than it was before. Here I'll give you an example. So here's the way the door was before. So I'll shake the table a little bit. There you go. Now that one fell, this one's still standing. So this is much better to keep it standing in your game. So just put that little base on there. It's only a ½ inch, and your doors won't fall over. So that's a great way to just, I guess, nifty up these little doors a bit. And see, this is one that I haven't repainted, and this is the door that I have. So you can tell there's a little bit of a difference to the doors. So just a little bit of character, and the base is great. It stands up. So there you go. Easy way to fix up these Mage Knight doors a bit. And remember, they also open, so in your game you can have it, open to whatever side you want. So there you go, and see you next time on DM's Craft.